Alternative Addiction. Interview exclusive.
We Are the Fallen. That's the new band. How did this get started?
Well, me personally, when Ben Moody left Evanescence, he got started right away as like a producer songwriter kind of guy. He started writing with Avril Lavigne, and then it just led to him producing all these people. And I just happened to meet him right when he had left the band, and him and I started collaborating together. Like I basically played bass. I was like a session bass player, and I played bass on pretty much everything he's recorded or demos for every artist he's written for. So him and I have been working together for like 6 years. So even though this is a new band, it feels like I've been in the band for like 6 years because it's almost like nothing has changed as Ben and I have been working together. So he obviously was in Evanescence, and then he always had that itch to like continue touring and kind of continue where they had left off as a band before, and so he wanted to start something new. So then when the time came, he just called everybody up and said, I think it's time to start working on some new rock songs and hit the road, So then I just kind of worked out where I was in there already working with Ben all the time, and then we found Carly. She was that final piece of the puzzle. We were trying to find a really great singer, and that was that last piece that just came together.
How did you guys get Carly to join the band?
It was, I guess she was already working on her own material, and I guess coming out of American Idol, the only things that were getting offered to her were like people that wanted to turn her into a pop singer, And she was writing all these rock demos that people weren't, really interested in, I guess, even though they're probably great songs. And so I guess when we came to her with the idea, she was like, wow, kind of exactly what she was looking for. And when we were looking for a singer, it was kind of like a secretive thing. We didn't want like 1,000 people sending us stuff, so it was kind of like just word of mouth through friends and this other artist that we worked with a lot, Hannah Pestel. Her mom was, ironically, was like, you got to see this girl Carly that was on American Idol last year, and of course everybody kind of shrugged it off, like, we'll check it out. But it ended up working out. She was one of the singers that came down and just blew us away. She's like one of those powerhouse vocalists, that just like it just hit any note. It's just like it's the possibilities are limitless. So it was kind of like wow. And her direction as far as like imagery and just everything was right on. You kind of expect that a girl. I mean, at least I expected. I know it's a stereotype, but you kind of expected that like a girl coming out of American Idol, you'd have to kind of point her in the right direction with us. But she was right on. I mean, she showed up that first day at that audition. She was actually wearing like some old Iron Maiden shirt that she had. It was like, whoa, I didn't expect this.
It's kind of cool. Hannah's mom did a little A&R for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, it's a strange thing that this other girl, Monique, was actually staying at Ben Moody's house, and she was actually friends with Carly. And so Carly had Ben in Ben's house, like just hanging out a couple times, and she had met him briefly. So this girl Monique was also like, "Hey, you gotta check out Carly." And yes, he kind of shrugged it off too. But then once we decided, like, yeah, we should check her out, he basically called that girl Monique and was like, "Hey, I want to talk to your friend Carly." And she's like, we're at a Fleetwood Mac show right now. We'll be over in 20 minutes because we're coming home anyway. We're going there anyway. So it was kind of weird how it's all connected,
Cool.
She'd already been in his house. This is weird, but it's cool,
I like it, man. So what about the album? Like, is this material that you and Ben have had for a while and just kind of brought the band together around it, or is it stuff that you and the band kind of all wrote together specifically for this record?
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple, like, starter ideas that, like, maybe John had a few riffs, like, before. But for the most part, I'd say 90 or 95% of the record was all written at once during, like, a 2-month period. Like, as soon as because everything kind of happened fast, We signed our deal with Universal after really only, having a couple songs. And then we were, just had our mindset on writing the record, and even with the the band can be really productive. Ben's, I mean, his career is based on writing songs, so I thought that we could probably do it pretty quickly, but it just all came together so fast. It was like we had about 2 months where we just kind of got in there and just kind of got, concentrated, and it just happened really fast. So.
Well, and it's funny because I know Ben's released kind of some solo stuff here and there and some things like that, but I mean, you kind of were waiting for him to have a project where it's like a full-blown project like this, and then it all the just you waited, and then all of a sudden, hey, here's we are the fall, and it just kind of happened, and it seemed like it happened really fast for you guys.
Yeah, it happened really fast, and it definitely wasn't like it would probably seem that. Like, oh yeah, he probably had some songs in his pocket, but I mean, for the most part, it was just all written. Like, we just said, okay, we're going to write this record, and we went ahead and wrote the record. It's kind of cool,
Cool.
So.
And what there's going to be comparisons. There always is going to be because it's it's Ben Moody, and then there's a female lead vocalist. But is it a lot like Evanescence, or is it a totally different thing?
There's a couple songs where, that definitely has that same element, but, I mean, there's no denying it because Ben, he wrote, most of the, music on that first Evanescence album, with Amy. So, there's a few songs where it definitely has that element, but for the most part, it definitely sounds like another direction or, because, like, there's basically 2 songs that are released right now, and the first song that came out was Bury Me Alive. And there are definitely some, Evanescence, you can compare it to that. But then the second song that came out, Without You, I'm really glad we released that one because I think it shows a whole other side, It's more of a pop, and it's a rock song that has a little bit more of a pop element than I think Evanescence direction would go in, But there's other songs, too, on the album that are just, like, giant, epic, like, movie soundtrack type rock songs, So it's got a little bit of everything on the album.